Welcome, friends, to another episode of my interesting experiences in my working life. This is an experience in Electronics Corporation of India Limited. Around 1985 or 86, I was working in Control Systems Group, CSG 4 building, and I was looking after computer. I just procured and installed a computer-aided design system, Unix-based system with one graphic terminal and two VT100 terminals. VT100 terminals we were using for programming and for production of textual engineering drawings like bills of material, labels list, connection list, etc. At that time, our group had one special project in which they had to do back panel wiring in a crisscross manner. Normally in control panels, we neatly bunch the wires and route the wires carefully so that they appear neat and it is easy to disconnect, reconnect. But by bunching the wires, we get two electrical effects, namely the inductance effect and the capacitance effect, which reduce the capacity of the wire to carry current and reduces the insulation resistance. And in this case, we also had to use the shortest length of wire because it was on low voltage, very low voltage like 12 volts and 5 volts. Therefore, we had to crisscross, and this they used a wire wrapping tool and a machine. The pins are very densely populated, so they used a semi-automatic wire wrapping machine. They procured one semi-automatic wire wrapping machine from Gardner, Denver, and installed it. Now, how does the data go into the semi-automatic wire wrapping machine? Data is basically the pin coordinates. Pin coordinates given in the pin numbers from the left Y, XY coordinates. And earlier it was going using a paper punched paper tape, and this is the latest version with a floppy interface. For floppy interface, they gave a box which is about 75 centimeters into 75 centimeters into 75 centimeters. That's about 3/4 of a meter cube. And there is a 8-inch floppy. In 85, 86 in India, 8-inch floppy was the standard. And this 8-inch floppy drive, they gave it a floppy drive and a RS-232C interface. At that time, that was the standard, and that is the interface that was connected to the machine from this floppy, and to transfer data from the computer to the floppy also, this is the interface. So they were initially entering the data on this CAD system using the VT100 terminals, and then transferring it using the RS-232C port and cable. Now, the issue is the Gardner Denver machine is in CSG 3 building and the CAD system is CSG 4 building. There is a 50-meter distance between these two buildings, and including the shop where it is and where the CAD system is, it may be 50 to 60 meters totally. And RS-232C cable cannot be run for that much distance. We need two modems at both the ends. Because there are two different buildings, we need to go through the road. That means we have to dig a trench and embed the cable. It becomes much more longer and much more complex. So initially they were bringing the box with two helpers for carrying it from building to building for transferring data, and the transferred data to go back to the machine. And then the manager who was looking after the project said that this CAD system also has an 8-inch floppy and the machine also has an 8-inch floppy. Why can't we exchange the data using the floppies? Hardware wise, it is perfect, but Unix uses a different format of floppy and that machine uses 3740 format, or in other words, it is the CP by M operating system floppy. CP by M operating system was used in the Apple IIe computers and later on in other computers also. And CP by M operating system cannot be read on the Unix machine. Unix floppy cannot be read on the 37 floppy interface. So that manager had a fresh recruit, not just fresh, he's about a year older in the organization, and he is an MTech in electronics or electronics, I think electronics. He is not a computer science person. At that time, computer science was not that popular. So he was an electronics person, and he had some airs about him. Unfortunately, he felt that he is not getting his due weight or respect in the organization because he is MTech, he is a first class student. He should be given more authority rather than as responsibility. Authority was what he was looking for. And since I was holding charge of the CAD system, he felt, or at least I perceived that he felt that I am not the right person to handle the system, but he is the right person. He used to come and work on the system, and he was generally a bit of a nuisance. His name was Surendra Babu. And he said, you know, his manager told him, you are the best person. I will give you access to that machine. I will ask them to give you the access machine to ensure that this floppy can be transferred. You don't have to carry the box. He was very enthusiastic. He came, he took the manuals, he read the manuals through and through. He worked on that machine. Then somebody told him, Murali Krishna is knowledgeable, go to him and take his advice. He was reluctant. He came to me and said, do you know anything about 3740 format? The fact is, I do not know. I do not know the internal formatting of 3740, how it is formatted. And in those days, there was no internet. If you want, you have to buy the manual and read it. And the manual of that floppy drive is supplied only to the manufacturers who buy a number of floppy drives. And the floppy drive manufacturer was not in India. It was made in United States of America. So we can't get that manual. We don't have a collaborator who will supply that manual. And does anybody else have? We do not know. Then he worked on his own using the Unix system, his commands, and after a month he declared it's impossible to transfer the data from this computer and use the floppy to transport data from CSG 3 building to CSG 4 building. And he came up with the suggestion, you see, we'll buy 2 modems, run a cable, and through this RS-230 interface, we'll run this cable from this building to that building, and then transfer the data. It was put up to the management, and the management finding that there is no other alternative, in consultation with other people, they decided to approve it. And it is approved. And it is in the final approval signature, after which it will go to the civil engineering division for doing the work. At that time, since I've been seeing this magic going for 1 month, 1.5 months, and in the meanwhile that box was carried a dozen times from this building to that building, and since I'm not involved, I kept quiet. But I do not have any solution. I do not have any ready-made solution to wave a magic wand and make it happen. Then I went to Mr. Bhatia. I had access to him. I told him, I was told that I come to know that this is being done. Is it right? He said, yes, the file is with me. If I approve it, it will go. Then I said, can you hold the file for a week and give me a chance for 1 week, 7 days? By this day, next week, if I cannot do, you can approve it. He said, how are you going to do? I said, I do not know. I will have to find my way around. I have to see what is causing this problem. Not since the hardware is there, it should be possible that we can write some programs by which we can transfer the data in a manner that the machine's floppy box accepts it. He said, okay, I'm giving you 1 week, not more than that. I don't want the box to be carried once more. So the problem is in my court now. So immediately I contacted the technical support of the CAD supplier OMC Computers. They sent another MTech guy by name Bharat. And I asked him, this is the problem, that is a CP by M floppy. Here we have Unix floppy drive. How can I send the data to that? Do you have any solution? He said, there is no way. Here we can format floppies only in Unix. I told him, can you tell me how the formatting is done? What is the thing that we do? He said he is not knowledgeable. And we went through the specs of the data, how it is to be formatted. And we tried to write it on a floppy, and using some, there is a command in Unix which will allow us to write data onto pre-formatted floppies without any issue. So we took a empty floppy, used that command, that's a DD command, used the DD command and wrote the data on the floppy, took it to the machine and tested it. No, the machine did not recognize. He said, this is the best I can do. I wish you best of luck, and he went away. Now, what do I do? So, since it is not accepting the data written on this computer using this Unix operating system, I wanted to take a floppy that is formatted on that machine and see what is written there, and then reverse engineer and write that same thing through a program. So I formatted a 8-inch floppy on the floppy box, brought it into my Unix system, and Unix system has a unique facility in which any device can be opened as a file, raw file. We don't have to check the formatting. In DOS and Windows based computers, an unformatted floppy cannot be read, but Unix, no, we can format it on any machine and we can read it. We can read in whatever way we want, character by character or sector by sector. So I read sector by sector. In those days, sector was 128 bytes. I read the 128 bytes, and I read the entire floppy. It contained data only for 2 sectors, 256 bytes of data. I tried to display it in hexadecimal codes and try to interpret character by character. 2 hexadecimal codes will make 1 byte. It was gibberish. Gibberish because they encrypted it. They encrypted it and we don't know the encryption key. So what I did, and the next stage of experiment, first I said, is there any easy solution? There was no easy solution. Then I read that formatted floppy, and then reading the 2 sectors, I copied that into a file and then added data file to it. Took it to the floppy box and tried to make it read. The machine did not recognize. I said there is something else being in this gibberish that tells where the data starts, and I am not able to put it. What is the next way? I took a floppy which was formatted on the floppy box, and then data was transferred onto it using the RS-232C port. I read that, I brought that floppy. Again, I went into the raw mode using the C program and read the character by character. Exactly the 2 sectors or 256 bytes was gibberish, and the 257th byte the data started. I know where the data started because I know the data. I went character by character and decided 257th character, the data is starting, and the data is one single file. That means when we are transferring the data through RS-232C port, it is writing the location from where to look for data in that gibberish of 256 bytes. So on this theory, from this floppy, that means which has the data transferred onto it from the RS-232 port, and copied the 256 bytes into a different file. Now I kept that file separately. Then I asked them, you give me fresh data. They have given me a data file which is already there. And I combined the data file and this 256 bytes by concatenating it. There is a command in Unix, cat command, which will run character by character and add it to another file. So taking these two files, I concatenated it into a third file. Now the third file had the 256 bytes of the formatting information from the box and the data file from the 257th byte. Then I took that floppy to the machine and tried to run it. The machine recognized it and it started running. Then I went to Mr. Bhatia and said, Mr. Bhatia, I did it. It took me about 4 days. On the 4th day I went around 2:30 or so, 4 o'clock we all go, and I told him, can you please spare a minute, just look at it. So I said, this is the floppy I created there and I am inserting it. Now let us run it. We ran it, it was running. Then we called the in charge of that panel wiring shop, Murahari, and we asked him, please check this. He checked it, it was moving. But whether it is moving correctly or wrongly, we do not know. So we called the project manager and the officer designing it and wiring it. So we asked him, can you give me a file in which you know the coordinates, you have the drawing, and when we run the machine, it should go to the correct pin or not, you please verify. He gave us a file. In another 5 minutes, I went and copied that, redone the process of concatenating the formatting information and this data file into one single file, copied it onto the floppy using the DD command and brought it. It took me around 10 minutes. And until that time, Mr. Bhatia was with the panel wiring shop and the project manager was there. And they also called the assistants who entered the data and who have the drawings, and they brought it. And then I brought the floppy and inserted it. And the assistant started checking. They first pushed the button. The moment the button is pushed, the head, wrapping head has gone and positioned it to a specific terminal. And that assistant checked and said, yes, this is the terminal. Then pushed it. It should go to the other end of the wire. The machine moved to the other pin and positioned itself there. The assistant again checked and said, yes, that is correct. And then for 15 minutes, it's about 100 terminals we tested. It worked. Then everybody started asking, how? I told him, this is a method. I copied the 256 bytes and then adding the data file, and it is getting read. This we can also do. Yes, you can do. Again, I wish to, at the cost of repeating myself, remind you of the joke of Columbus. Columbus went westwards to find India and found land, brought some gifts for the Queen of Spain, and she arranged a banquet for him. And in that everybody started talking, if we are given so many ships, if we are given so many people, if we are given so much money, we could have done that. And Columbus could not tolerate it because the din has become too much and his capability is being questioned. So he stood up, gentlemen, you can do, you are capable. Now here is an egg. Can you make it stand? They tried, failed. He said, wise guy, you do it. What all he did was he chipped a bit on one of the ends and made it stand, it stood. They all said, yes, we can do this. Columbus said, yes, you can, once it is shown to you how. The solution was simple, what I have done, and very easy. Then we made a batch file, and what all they have to do is they have to give the data file to that, run the command of the batch file, supply the name of the data file, and it will write it onto the floppy automatically, and the floppy is ready. With one step they can go and do the wiring. They did the wiring and they checked it. The first panel wired with this my solution. I was very keenly observing and I tested it. It passed the quality control activity also. Now that laying the cable, cutting the road, the civil engineering division, modem procurement, wiring, all this is avoided. The floppy, they were transporting the data with the floppy as required. So did I get any increment, special reward? Nothing. They said, this is nothing, is a simple solution. Only thing is Murali Krishna thought of it and others did not think of it. It's a simple thing. He could have told my Surendra Babu and he would have done it. Instead of telling Surendra Babu the solution, he was selfish and he went and did it himself. Yes, it looks like you solve a problem, you become selfish. And by projecting the problem, he did wonderful work, he did hard work. So friends, till another experience, till another creative problem solving experience, see you.